Boxing Stream.
Obey my commands at all times, for protection of time. Escuchen, cuídate. Listo? Ready? Let's go.
Let's go, baby. We are ready to go. Tony Weeks, the third man in the ring. 12 rounds of championship boxing coming your way with a WBA super featherweight belt on the line. Held by that man, Alberto Machado, the 27-year-old from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hoping to take Raphael Mensah. 30-0 from Accra, Ghana. We are underway in Las Vegas. Two southpaws fighting for a belt. Machado won his belt by beating Gisbel Corrales. If you see a lot of him at the heart the wild card gym where you go work out and see him in Hollywood.
Yeah, and he's a legitimate puncher. Keep this in mind. He's a southpaw who's a converted right-hander, so that power hand is on the front side. That right hook really is a weapon, although it's a good left. One note about Mensah, he's a rare. I'm a big fan of fighters from Ghana, the late champion being Isaac Ogbe. He's the first southpaw I could actually recall from that country. Has so many great champions like David Cote, Joshua Clay, Azuma Nelson, Rich Cote, a lightweight contender who'll be fighting next week. Now they call him Sleepy, I'm assuming because he's a southpaw who likes spots. Let it be known very clearly, there's only one Sweepy for Norfolk's finest, and he will never be replicated.
Pernell Whitaker. The Machado. Promoted by Miguel Cotto, who's in attendance. Jorge Linares also sitting ringside. Intently looking on to this fight.
Looking at them side by side as they square off. Machado is so much bigger. Yeah. He really does. Not only the height, but also the shoulder width, the musculature. Mensah has a record of 31-0, but I can tell you that's a very deceiving record. His last couple of opponents have had records of 18-4-1 and 6-7. Don't know how legitimate that record really is, and you can see how confident Machado is early on, really controlling the center of the ring and shooting down some hard punches right down the middle.
When you look at a fighter like Mensah, you're doing your research, you're checking him out, like, okay, give him credit for the record, he did get the biggest, but it's against who? If he wrestling, no, because he's going to pay up. Honestly, no clue, because you don't know much about what Mensah has gone up against.
Yeah, I was able to view one of his fights. The one thing I did notice, he's a pretty clever boxer, sound technically, but he seems to slap with his punches, and he's a little bit wide in the punching frame. If he's right with Machado, I think that's a recipe for disaster.
The champion is Alberto Machado. That longer frame. He brought a good-sized crowd with him here in Las Vegas. The first round winds down.
Hey, come to me. Good? Okay, here we go.
2 left in the round. 1 second was left in the round, and Mensah is wobbling back to his corner.
Sit down, Ralph. Sit down. Look, you got to watch this guy right hook, man. You see what I'm saying?
Hands up.
Keep your hands up. You pull back from the right hook. You ain't pull back from it. You all right? Put some cold water on his head.
Somebody get the mouthpiece out.
Listen, I got the mouthpiece. Listen. Keep your hands up. Use the jab and move around. Okay? Deep breath.
Go ahead.
You got to watch his right hook, okay?
And Machado is one of those tall, lanky punchers that really creates a lot of torque. And I mentioned earlier, he's a converted right-hander, which means his power is going to be specifically on the front side with that right hook. That's what turned the fight around against Gisbel Corrales, and it gives him an early lead in a definitive statement against Raphael Mensah.
1 second left in that first round. Tony Weeks calling time. Getting that corner.
Go, time in the scope.
Machado, 19-0, has 16 KOs.
No, stop.
Against that, probably the hardest that Mensah's ever been hit.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever faced what I'd call a legitimate 130-pounder. As I perused his record, a lot of soft matchmaking, even later on in his career. There's a rule, if you can't find a lot of fights on YouTube of a guy, he may have not faced a lot of solid opposition leading that title shot.
Stop.
Is this his mandatory?
Yes, that's exactly why they made this fight. And as you saw in the ring walk, he is represented by the one and only Don King, who still has some sway with this sanctioning body, obviously.
Machado trains with Freddie Roach in Hollywood. Freddie had some fighters leave, Manny Pacquiao, Jose Ramirez had left Freddie, but Machado is there. Freddie's in the work. Article about Freddie and his stable at the times with Lance Pugmire about how Freddie goes to work every day. Steve, he's firsthand because you're there a lot.
One of the deepest gyms still in Southern California, and he's added a couple of young Mexican Olympians in Raul Curiel and Jose Velasquez.
And he had Cotto bringing his young guys to him. All balanced up. You see the jab from Machado. You see the precise throws from Machado. His hands nice and tight.
Notice in this fight with Machado, his steps are a little bit shorter. Again, Freddie Roach really emphasized footwork. And you can see how much under control he is. Right on top of himself, head not getting in front of his front foot, and making sure, again, with that tall, lanky frame of his and that reach, really Mensah's going to have to make a decision to walk into the propellers of the jet. This is a really tough physical matchup for Mensah if Machado continues to fight under control from the perimeter.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
20 weeks instructions. Machado will push down. Mensah seems to have recovered after getting dropped late in the first. With the white gloves that Machado is wearing, they look even bigger. Body work. You can see he's on the defensive here in the second round. 10 seconds to go in the second. So the champion fight between Alberto Machado and Raphael Mensah. Machado looks strong.
Deep breath. Water.
Nariz, okay. No más, okay?
Okay.
Bien.
Now, don't get caught getting wild and just swinging, okay? Work everything precise behind the jab. I want you to see the opening first, right? Double jab, your right hand, yeah. Don't get caught swinging. Be precise, all your combination, right? Don't get, he's trying to swing. Don't let him. Right. Behind the jab.
Solid advice from Freddie right there.
Yeah, just keep it fundamental. Everything behind that long, powerful right jab. You understand one thing. From this distance, it'll be very difficult, if not impossible, for Mensah to really land anything of note.
Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, the joint in Las Vegas. We are for this broadcast. Mensah went down late in the first. And Machado is seeming loading up on his punches now.
He has a real purpose to what he does. Certainly a guy that has a lot of faith in his ability to punch hard and with velocity. And again, Mensah's record is better than his actual ability.
Didn't see Mensah land anything solid early. Said you found that one video where he was slapping it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that. No jab from Mensah early on.
First time, Beto, that you get really hit hard from a world-class fighter. We're going to make a decision. Am I really at this level? I really belong here.
It's a lot of different things. Just in the ring, the entire flying to the United States, the Las Vegas, having to do fighter meetings, having to do photo shoots, having to talk with their buddy, is pretty different from what he's accustomed to.
And there was another right hook about 10 seconds ago that put Mensah on his heels.
Machado taking his time.
Against Joel Corrales early on, Corrales was a very twitchy, fast athlete. He was able to get inside and reach the air brakes of Machado and beat of the punch. That simply is not happening here with Mensah.
That fight was at Turning Stone in upstate New York. Now Machado gets to defend it in Las Vegas.
But also, you got to get put to Machado.
No,
Of setting up the jab. Everything comes off that jab. Making sure Mensah's way on the outside. This is a technically improved fighter here.
And the sparring that Machado gets in wild card.
Yeah.
World class. Basically having a pay-per-view fight every time you step in. Now what you wonder about Mensah, what's he working with?
You know, last week I had to walk into the downstairs portion of the wild card to talk to somebody really fast. And just in my 5 minutes there, I saw Ray Beltran preparing for title shot and a very good young prospect by the name of Devin Haney. That's the type of level of talent you're going to find there on a day-to-day basis at gyms in LA, such as the wild card.
Hey, get over there. That's okay.
Look at that. Only in America and only in East LA. On King and the Golden Boy.
Still waving the flags. Oscar promoting tonight's show. Well, Oscar in the flag. Don will wave any flag you give him, right? Our good friend, Viva Nuthead Sean will do it too.
Sean Gibbons, international man of mystery in boxing.
Viva Witty.
Two jabs right hand, get a little closer, okay? Step, okay? And remember, don't pull him, don't pull him. Cut the ring off,
Grab the schools. Put your hands up.
Fourth round of action. Alberto Machado, the southpaw, with the white gloves. And the south of the red gloves is Raphael Mensah, the opponent from Ghana. He went down late in the first round. Machado style where he just takes his time and tries to fit you out.
Well, listen, he's got the luxury of being a big, tall guy that has reach so he could box like he's doing the last round or two. But he also has that eraser with the right hook. I think what Freddie wants is a balance between the two. Control guys early on and then set up the knockout.
Stop.
130 pounds. There's Tank Davis at that weight.
There's also Miguel Burchelt. Big, strong Mexican who's scheduled to fight Miguel Roman in defense of his WBC title. And another fellow Puerto Rican, Christopher Petufo Diaz, will be fighting Masayuki Judge Ito at the end of the month for a vacant title. Yeah, he cut that one up.
Dancing Needles. Right now it's Alberto Machado controlling the ring. The Puerto Rican from San Juan. Viejo San Juan.
Good body work there by the Puerto Rican. And look at Machado, even though he's 27, I see room for improvement. I can already see it from time he's worked with Fred. A lot of little things.
How many fights is this?
I think this is his second or third. It hasn't been that long of an association.
This year, right?
But the one,
late last year.
Yeah, the one thing you cannot teach, it has to be God-given, is natural power, and he has that.
Fancy. Stop.
As you saw late in the first, with that solid right hook that dropped Mensah. The attack.
Another thing you can't teach Beto is size. Yeah. You cannot teach that frame. You got to have a good gene pool, and he certainly does there.
Packs it on nice. The dip in the body of Machado. Another solid right hook.
Go there. Stop. Get him up. Oh, no. Yeah.
Going back to the lineage of Mensah, he is the nephew of Corte. The Bazoo was a personal favorite of mine. Very strong, well-regarded welterweight champion in the late 90s.
I like watching him fight.
Boy, what a ramrod jab he had.
Stop. Let him up.
Mensah has settled in here since the late knockdown bet, so I got to give him credit. I don't think he's mounting up offense, and you see now, slight adjustment from Machado. He started going to the body. Maybe, that was him.
That was on him. Mensah. He got stunned. He's on the ropes. Final second of the 4th round. Machado. And his hands fly. And he'll survive the 4th, Mensah. He's wobbly. Falls into the arm of Tony Weeks. He's telling him to look back, and Mensah staggering.
Lay back. That's all right.
Just as we were saying that he was settling nicely, and he was.
He had top, put the towel around
That is great thing about having an eraser. You can turn around and fight at any time. Mensah's actually boxing respectably, if not winning the round. This time it was from the backhand. It looked like an overhand left, right over the top that bugged Mensah.
Look at the referee.
Good? Okay.
Tony Weeks is telling him, tell me you're good.
Hold it.
Okay, yelled at by
Hold
the
him out, Pete.
and he's not good.
Listen, relax.
And here comes end of the last round. He slips a punch and he comes right back. Boy, that's a professional looking move. Rolling with the punch and coming right over the top. And Mensah made a mistake. With that lead hand, when you throw a jab out or you throw another punch, that hand's got to be a little bit higher and that chin's got to be tucked in.
Harping on it in the second round, the fundamentals of Machado have improved, and that right there was textbook fundamentals.
Get off his head.
Now I expect Machado again. Go to the body, bring the hands and the elbows down, and they come right over the top. That seemed to be the formula for that knockdown.
Mensah's like still a bit wobbly. He's slapping with his punches right now. Trying to keep his distance away from Machado.
Stop.
He felt the power at the end of the first. Felt some strong power in the end of the 4th. Machado goes in the round strong. Another left.
You know, Machado is now just rolling downhill, as I like to say, coming in unfettered in a straight line with some hard punches. He's got it all going. Left hand, right hand, bot shots, and then everything set up to eventually come over the top.
Mensah in the corner. Tony Weeks is looking on very closely.
Stop.
Mensah breathing hard. His legs are still not back from the end of the 4th. Machado is so fresh. He's landing that left to jaw with ease.
And eventually that left will set up that clean-up right hook.
Which is what dropped him at the end of the first. Look at the eyes from Machado, nice and big. Focus, laser focus. Mensah's in the corner, tell him to keep your hands up.
Oh, that right hook again took him.
He's not firing, he gets it, but he's not answering anything against Raphael Mensah.
That's the thing that's so dangerous about
that's another good shot.
Machado. Fighters that are turned around from their natural stance, that power's on the front side.
Stuck in is Machado. Mensah trying to move away, doesn't. You hear the corner. Station McKinley yelling, fight back to Raphael Mensah.
And his legs aren't there. You saw it right there. He's trying to move forward and touch ahead. So even if he tries to throw a hard punch, there's really much of a foundation left in his pin. It's almost as if it's been beaten out of him.
It will look like it's gone. Even the few things that Mensah does land, there's nothing behind him. Final seconds of the 5th. A solid round for the champion, Alberto Machado. Looking good in Las Vegas. Liverpool, England's own Liam Biffy Smith wearing the pads, being warmed up as he goes up against the champion Jaime Munguia from Liverpool. You'll never walk alone for Liam Smith. His only loss coming against Canelo Alvarez, Cowboy Stadium a couple years ago. Got some jams going on in the locker room.
And we take a look at some of the action. Again, the left hand.
No, I'm good. Thanks. I'm good.
Mensah's certainly been game. He's been floored in the first and in the fourth, and he was
Let's go,
able
seconds
to
out.
withstand the fifth.
Let's go.
But we talk about the proud Puerto Rican lineage in prize fighting. Currently, there are 4 champions from the island, including Machado. There's Jesus Rojas, Tito Acosta, and perhaps the most talented, Manny Rodriguez, the IBF Bantamweight champion, who will be going into the World Boxing Super Series tournament in the upcoming months.
And Mensah, between rounds, was looking at his corner for any kind of guidance. He said at the end of the 5th round, maybe the wheel had pushed out of him.
Right, or how about some sympathy? You'd hate to see a Correa's corner here. Raphael Mensah is finding out one thing. Toto, you're not in Accra anymore. It's been a different league for Alberto Machado.
You can tell a fighter so many instructions. You can wheel him so much, but if the fighter doesn't have anything.
Yeah. A great jockey cannot win a race with a 3-legged horse. That's just the reality of it. And if you're outgunned and outgamed and out-arsenal as they seem to be here, there's not really much any trainer can do.
You see the size difference. You mentioned it earlier. Now that Machado has that lather going, like muscle definition in, he rehydrated real nicely.
It's been a very disciplined performance technically, though, from Machado, taking away power, controlling distance, staying on top of the center of the ring, pushing back Mensah.
Machado, 16 KOs, perfect, 19-0. That punching power is real.
Right, and look, this is only his 20th professional fight, so in my view, even though he's 27, there still seems to be some growth. Like there might be a higher ceiling for this young man if he just keeps working at it.
Working with Fred Roach, making moves to Los Angeles camps. The discipline, quality of work that he gets in there day in, day out at the Wild Card in Hollywood. See, now that Freddie doesn't have the more higher profile fighters that require a lot of picture like a Manny Pacquiao or Miguel Cotto.
I don't think there's any doubt in recent months with some of the departure like Jose Ramirez, Machado now certainly becomes a priority at Wild Card.
Machado, Mensah, working our way towards Liam Smith versus Jaime Munguia. We Tijuana, Mexico against Liverpool, England, coming up in the main event.
You boxing from the outside, work this out. Boxing from the outside, you're doing a good job. But you got to get in there, you got to get in there, give me some water. Water. You got to get in there and you got to mix it up now, okay? You understand? Not just one hand. One shot to the body. Here when the body shot comes, you got to fight now, just fight. Okay? You keep that jab in face. Come on. Good. Better around. Keep your hands up. Okay? We losing the fight. We losing right now. You gotta let your hands go.
Get the water up.
Get the water up. Okay? Put combinations together now, all right? Okay?
Oh, the boy president Eric Gomez looking at his phone, and there's a future Hall of Famer Miguel Cotto watching his young fighter Alberto Machado dominate this fight.
You know, Stacey McKinley earthed this fighter to make more of a fight. In other words, get inside Problem is, at that point, you might be running to the right hook.
Raphael Mensah, 30-0, 22 KOs from Akiragana. The question was, what kind of record was that? I think finding out tonight, it was inflated. We expected that. But it reminded me when Isaac Dogboy came to Las Vegas, beat Dan Hunt, 20-pound champion Jeff Magdaleno. We had to think about Dogboy. Like, who is this guy?
There was a difference, though. The previous fight, though, he was matched against a very tough Mexican contender by the name of Cesar Juarez. So there was a baptism by fire.
Which Mensah hasn't had.
Yeah.
He wasn't matched up with anybody that could get him prepared for a fighter like Machado.
You know, years ago when Azuma Nelson just flashed onto the scene, he was a virtual unknown against the great Salvador Sanchez, and was thought to be a really easy fight, and instead he probably gave Sanchez his toughest professional battle before bowing out in the late rounds.
Seventh round of action.
You just never really know how a guy like this is going to react on the stage after not having been tested.
That's why you taught me you'd be 20-0 with 20 KO as a young prospect, and you're still nothing right now.
And you could be Orlando Salido or Freddie Pendleton and have your record dotted losses and be a very dangerous fighter.
Over and over. Methodical Alberto Machado.
See, and again, that left hand hurt him. That right there put him on his heels, and that's what I think Mensah realizes. I'm sure he'd love to tell Stacey Kinley it's easier on the outside than it is on the inside.
He's not cracking me on the outside. Precision. Machado. No, stop. Alberto Machado, San Juan, Puerto Rico. When you think about what that island has gone through with their hurricane, and the island's still trying to recover. Machado had to leave his family to come train, knowing that the island's not back to where it's supposed to be. And those are more sacrifices you have to make. Stop. Just leaving around, but it's almost selfish in the views of other people. But hey, that's how you feed your family. That's how you become who you are. And that's why he's a world champion here. Defending it in Las Vegas. Seventh round coming to an end between Alberto Machado and Raphael Mensah. It's all Machado all the time in Las Vegas. El Tijuanero, Jaime Munguia, getting loose. He can defend his belt for the first time, working the mitts. Who's that trainer, Steve?
That is Robert Alvazar, who
Yes,
began Oscar De La Hoya a long time ago. Beto, about a week and a half before May 12th, I was actually at the private gym of Johnny Molina, and I was just blown away by Munguia on two accounts. Number one, the engine. He went 30 hard rounds on the floor at an incredible pace for a guy his size. And the other thing that really struck me was he's got good legs and feet. He is not your stereotypical plotter. He has some athleticism, and he might be only scratching the surface of his ability.
Saying still green. He is a world champion. In baseball terms, you wouldn't mind a little bit more seasoning for him. But hey, he's good to be in the major leagues.
What they say about 500 more at-bats at AAA, right?
That'll it. But if you start hitting bombs at Citi Field, they keep you up there. Eighth round. The man with white gloves is the champion. Alberto Machado. He's controlled every single round. Dropping Raphael Mensah earlier in his fight. Mensah's covered, but the will, the desire to actually mix it up with Machado is out. As you see at the end of every round, Mensah puts his hand up, like to tap, like, hey, good round, like if they're sparring. And Machado gets that look like, what are you doing? 103rd pound. You also have some young contenders that are in the mix there. You mentioned the champions earlier. if you're a matchmaker and you want to unify with Machado, you know you're going to be in for a tough night.
It'd be interesting to see down the line if he finishes the job off, how he would do against some well-known veterans. Let's say like a Francisco Vargas or a Jason Sosa, who had a version of a belt.
Puerto Rican.
Or another guy that's always involved in demolition derbies, one or the other. York Gamboa. Yeah, there are some interesting fights out there for Machado.
The pressure from Mensah slowed down that body shot, took something out of him. You don't even hear the yelling from the corner.
Yeah, I think they realize they're outgunned here.
At what point do you protect your fighter?
Well, I would say I would have done that a couple rounds ago. I would have basically said, you're going to have to give me something in the next round or I'm going to throw in the towel. And I tell you what, Machado, if he sets it up here and just grind into the body, chopping that tree, he could finish this fight.
Just an effort to throw those jabs.
Yeah.
And look at the swelling on the right cheek of Mensah. Started developing in the third and keeps growing every single round.
The accumulation of all those left hands over top, Beto, certainly taking its toll visibly and physically now.
There's nothing behind the punch of Mensah at all.
And it wouldn't surprise me if the Nevada State Athletic Commission ringside physician started peeking in because of that swelling at the end of this round.
That's a lot of heart in him.
The heart is willing, the body is not. For all intents and purposes, the competitive stage of this fight ended long ago. Let's see how they handle
no
this.
punches, man. Put your hands up. Get some water. You're going to get some water, but you listen. Listen. You get on the inside, throw some punches. Listen, Ralph. This guy is tired, man. You understand?
You gotta warn him, man. You gotta get it.
Listen, this guy is tired, man.
He's dead, man. He's dead tired.
Wake up, man. This guy's tired.
Don't worry. Good? Don't worry. I'm good.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Just checking on you.
Don't worry.
Right.
Let's go to work then.
Good shout out, Stacy.
Listen, I did. Listen, this guy's tired. You understand? He's tired. Hit him in the body on the inside, okay?
Ralph, you both hands.
Not one punch. Just like you're doing. Wipe his body out. Wipe his body out. Come on. Fred, we need this round. Keep your hands up. Grab this.
The energy and desire is there in the corner. But even when Raphael Mensah told Tony Weeks, I'm good, I don't think he believes it.
Yeah, this is where Tony Weeks, as a veteran referee, has to use some discretion. Discretion is certainly not the better part of valor in the corner of Raphael Mensah.
They said that Machado is tired. I don't see it.
Well, maybe tired of hitting him, but he doesn't look physically fatigued, and he's fought at a very professional, steady pace. A really good all-around performance from Machado.
9th round, the WBA super featherweight belt on the line. Machado. Has controlled every single minute of the fight. Has not been hit. Maybe 10 times? Definitely not, hasn't been hit by any power punches.
And that's what's really going to please Freddie Roach. It's not going to be the offensive outlet. I think he realizes this guy is a real hunter. And again, he's just pouring it on here. It's the fact that in the Corrales fight, he was consistently beat to the punch as he lost control of space. In this particular fight, he's really kept Mensah at bay while dominating every facet of this fight.
No. Stop.
There's nothing that Mensah has done tonight to even cause Machado to take a step back. He's coming forward the entire time. Nothing from Mensah, no defense. It's the most emotion we've seen all night, that step.
Again, the spirit is willing.
That's great. We love the spirit. We appreciate the warrior spirit. But even the instruction that says getting his quarter is an instruction. It's, hey, go after him.
There's one more big punch in Machado this thing could end.
Yeah.
He's right on the edge of the cliff, ready to be pushed off. Boy, that
to go.
And the swelling is really becoming noticeable.
You can see that swelling from the top deck. Now on the left hand, the Machado's thrown.
Stop.
It's all Alberto Machado. As Mensah. There's no return for Mensah.
Yeah, you actually saw Mensah do a bit of the cross blocking with his left hand, trying to protect the right side of his face.
Yep.
Oh, another good one, too.
Another solid round, Alberto Machado. Walking slowly back to his stool. Mensah, Tony Weeks looking right at him.
Sit down. Drink some water. Rap, you have to fight this guy. Okay? You got to fight if you want to win. You're fighting. What round is this?
We're going to round 10 now.
It's round 10.
We're going to round 10.
Listen. You got 3 rounds to do this.
You gotta win all these rounds.
Fight it. You ain't gonna win it by boxing. You got to get in and fight it and mix it up.
And it's punches like this that have really swollen that side of the face for Raphael Mensah, who, if anything, has shown to be very, very willing and game. And there's an uppercut from the hard-punching Machado. And you see again, Beto, as you said, something, even when Mensah lands, there's just not a lot of starch on those shots.
There are levels, and then there's championship level. Alberto Machado showing why he's the champion. And Raphael Mensah is showing he has the heart of a champion.
You know, and I just get that sinking feeling by letting this guy out. They're being very smart with Mensah.
Well, that's the members there. Look how tired he looks, dude.
Yeah.
He's lunging. Just trying to land.
Oh.
Like, Machado can't do this. Can you put Flurry on? Drop him one more time?
It's somewhat reminiscent of a heavyweight fight I watched as a kid from the Houston Astrodome that actually drove Howard Cosell out of the sport. Larry Holmes beating up on Randall Texas up for 15 rounds.
This reminds you of that?
It kind of does. One-sided fight where one guy really isn't doing anything. Texas had a funny line about the fight. He said, I would have gone another 15 if Cosell would quit football. Texas always had a good line.
Stop. Let him go.
But, you know, listen, I'm a firm believer. I actually like the MMA culture to tap out. If it's not your night, there's no need to get mangled or devastated to a point where you can't fight another day. Personally, if I'm in that corner of Mensah, I would have thrown in the towel about the 7th or 8th round. It's one thing to allow a fight where there's a lot of punishment, where it's a close fight, where it's nip and tuck. I don't see this being very close.
Or he has a shot. If you know
pulling the miracle.
Yeah.
But here, I'm not Al Michaels. I don't believe in miracles.
No, you don't. And Mensah hasn't shown anything tonight to make think that he has the ability to throw a knockout punch. Face and body of Alberto Machado is clean.
Yeah.
This is glorified sparring for him right now.
Stop.
He's hard at work at the wall bar. I mean, I'm not trying to harp on Mensah, but it's exactly what it is. Machado picks him when he wants to throw punches.
This is a classic example of a mismandatory. There are some very, very solid #1 contenders that have earned their spot, that have merit and have value. This, quite frankly, is not one of them.
Mandatory. If you don't take it, what do you do?
Well, basically, if you don't, unless you're one of these guys like a Canelo Alvarez, that have multiple belts, you're kind of forced to take these fights. That's why they call it mandatory.
Isn't there what they call step away?
Oh, the step aside, that's if you have another option. Now, for a guy like Machado, who I believe is still a developed fighter who happens to have belt, it's good work. It's great work.
Sweet science. Always learning something new. Another round for Machado.
If you want to win this fight, you got to put something together to win this fight. Okay? All right?
You need this, man. Suck it up. Suck it up.
Deep breath. Listen, man. You fight this out. You ain't putting no combination together. You put some combinations together, you ain't have no problem. Don't worry. Okay, I ain't gonna worry. All right, you say don't worry, I ain't gonna worry, okay? All right, this is round 11, okay?
Combination body and head behind the jab, okay? All right? All you, relax. Relax.
Swelling of a beaten man in Raphael Mensah. 10 rounds dominated by Alberto Machado. And the corner, he tells him, don't worry. They answer back with, well, then I won't worry. It's like we argue when you're a kid. Stop. There's no instruction in the corner. They're just telling him go up there and you need a fight, which they've been telling him the last 5 rounds. No.
Beto, you're a disciplinarian. I don't think as a father you've ever given a spanking for this long.
No, you don't. You get in trouble. Why not put more pressure at Machado? Why not go for the kill?
Well, you know, this is a guy that's still developing, still trying to figure out exactly what he is completely. Listen, I think there are times he has tried to step on the gas pedal. To the credit of Mensah, he may have been just simply too tough for his own good.
Looks like he's out for a Sunday cruise with the
Boy, he's just taking one left hand after another on the right cheek that just keeps swelling like a balloon. You can question the talent and maybe the validity of Mensah as the #1 contender. I certainly cannot question the heart and toughness.
Not at all. But at some point, somebody's got to take the fighter from himself. No. It's just a different level with Alberto Machado. The reason wants the check. Clean Machado.
Yeah.
His hair hasn't even messed up. Sweet Pea, the nickname of Raphael Mensah. Finally lands a shot. You mentioned great warriors from Ghana. Come to the United States and made a name for themselves, become champions. Great fighting tradition in that country.
You know, generally they all have very stout chins. And in that respect, Mensah has certainly lived up to that standard.
Another round dominated by Alberto Machado. And it looks like Mensah will make it to the 12th and final round, his first ever championship fight. Which might be just the moral victory that he was looking for. But look how slowly he walks back to the corner. That was a tired man.
It reminds me of that line from Sonny Liston when he cut up Chuck Wepner. Chuck Wepner needed the box.
He's going to try to knock you off. You got to go out and try to knock him out. Give me the water. Give me the water. Don't worry about the mouthpiece. Come here. Listen, you got to go out there and go to work, bro. Okay?
Okay, last round. Get the water up. Get the water up.
Get the water off the boat.
There we go. Ultimate round. All 3 minutes. Do not step back. You hear me? Go forward.
Step back, let him come. One right down the middle, okay? Be wide open, okay? All right, put that hook together, please, okay? All right? Give me that hook, all right? Let's finish. Last round, let's go.
Final round.
So you were saying Chuck Wepner?
Well, as they touch him up for the 12th and final round, Chuck Wepner had about 85 stitches. The Bayonne Bleeder hit Sonny Liston, and they asked him, Sonny, was that toughest human being that you ever faced? And Sonny Liston had no. His corner was.
You write all down to have a whole book because you knew this was the kind of fight we're going to have? Or they're all
just keep them in the back pocket. Beto, if you notice on the Tecate logo, there's a lot of moisture.
Yeah.
You may want to wipe that out or wipe that up for the main event. Both fighters are now starting to skip and slide in the middle canvas there.
Most of that came from Mensah. They poured the water all over him.
Yeah, whatever is the boxing version of the Zamboni, they want to bring it out here in a few minutes.
12th and final round. Alberto Machado dominating, controlling his fight against Raphael Mensah.
You know, honestly, if you're Mensah trying to survive, and if you're Machado, I just kind of do what I do. If you get the knockout, fine, but, you know, he hasn't gotten touched. The only way he could win this fight is with a bolt lightning.
And then maybe.
Yeah, so basically, if he even goes into the four corners, it's very understandable. It's been a very dominant performance in his first title defense for the Puerto Rican southpaw.
So what do you do next if you're Machado?
Well, listen, the name that I keep going back to, because he is with the same promotion company, again, Cotto Promotions has Machado along with Golden Boy.
Yep.
Francisco Vargas is a well-known name, former world champion, looking for a title shot. I think that's a very good action fight. I'd love to see that.
Matchmaker Steve Kim, both listener and writer.
I play one on Twitter and on the press row.
And everybody's a trainer on Twitter also. The will was there from Raphael Mensah. Fight him against an up-and-coming fighter.
Yeah.
A green fighter. I could see something there.
He's confident. He
Yes,
really
he
is.
I think his confidence would be completely different against somebody
Yeah,
on his level.
he's got solid skills, but the way he was brought up and developed, he really didn't go through a lot of tough moments, and I'm pretty sure there weren't a lot of Alberto Machado, tall, strong southpaws that could bang with both hands that he was matched against in his previous 31 battles.
Heart, will for Raphael Mensah. Too much Alberto Machado tonight. As Machado got Mensah early, took the fight from Mensah, and Machado is going to cruise to a victory tonight. They go the distance. There you see the Mo victory for Mensah. Just happy to go home on his feet. Solid performance.
Thank you.
And Beto, all began in round number one, end of the first frame. His signature punch, the right hook. And from that particular point in time for Raphael Mensah, it was all downhill. I'm not so sure he went around, and he took a beating in the process in the subsequent 33 minutes. And as you said, it was a moral victory for a very tough man who's going to go back to his home country with a proud boxing tradition, most likely his first professional blemish.
Just looking at the Twitter out there, and a couple of members of the boxing medium, I see the Vargas comparison that you like. Burchelt also out there.
It's interesting. I think at 130, there's no dominant force without Lomachenko, but it is Tank or Burchell.
12 rounds of boxing. We go to the scorecards, and all three judges have it same. 120 to 107. all for the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated, still the WBA super featherweight champion of the world, Alberto El Explosivo Machado.
El Explosivo gets his 20th victory. Goes the distance, works for it against Raphael Mensah. Machado defends his belt. The tan raised here in Las Vegas. Beth Duran, Steve Kim at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino, The Joint. This is where we are tonight. Our main event is going to be coming up next with Jaime Munguia, Liam Smith. We expect action and fireworks in that one because you love that Tijuana guy.
Well, Jaime Munguia is one of those fighters I like to say can make things exciting just by shadowboxing, and just 21 years old, and he burst onto the scene as a late replacement, ironically enough, for Liam Smith on May 12th. He absolutely hammered Saddam Ali into submission over 4 rounds to capture this WBO 154-pound title, and that fight will be coming up in a few minutes. And there you take a look at the victorious Alberto Machado, who remains undefeated, run his record to 20-0, did not get the stoppage, but won basically every single second and every single minute of this fight, hammering Raphael Mensah, who now dropped to 31-1. And once again, we are here in the city of Las Vegas from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Steve Kim, Beto Duran, bringing you the action. The main event is on deck. As you see the victorious Machado leaving the ring. And I'm sure pretty proud